Live?
Yep.
All right, hey, this is Brian Ellison. We're getting ready to give a little speech here about the background of Memorial Day and why we're here today, and how we're going to look for justice for the victims of the Royal Oak Police Department.
Good morning. My name's Brian Ellison, and I'm here today to talk. I want to give you guys a brief history of what Memorial Day is actually about. The history of observing Memorial Day can be traced back to the years immediately following the Civil War. It was originally called Decoration Day and was dedicated to remembering those who had lost lives during the Civil War. The tradition of observing Decoration Day as a day of remembrance exclusively for those who died in domestic warfare continued until the First World War. It wasn't until 1971 that Memorial Day was made an official government holiday, no doubt in response to an extremely unpopular war, to promote militarism and glorify the sacrifice of naive service members fighting aggressive wars in foreign lands. This tradition has continued to this day and has served to honor the deaths of countless Americans fighting to expand a global empire through heavy-handed military action in many regions of the world. Today, we reclaim Memorial Day and return it to its roots by recognizing the lives that have been lost in the latest domestic conflict. Citizens have been under siege in this country for far too long. Oppressive government rulers seek to dominate and control the lives of residents of this country. The war on drugs, the war on terror, the war on crime, the war on poverty, and every other war that politicians have declared all amount to the same thing: a war on the people. All freedoms that we were promised, and have led to loss of life, loss of freedoms that we were promised as Americans. As I stand here today, police are looking for any reason to arrest me and silence me for expressing my dissent to their abusive and deadly tactics. This war on the people has resulted in 2 recent killings in Royal Oak. On April 10th, Nino Gordon was shot 4 or 5 times by the Royal Oak Police while sitting in his car in a White Castle drive-thru. The family has sought answers to why this happened, and their questions have been answered with the guilty silence that all too often accompanies state-sanctioned murders. No video or audio of this incident has been released to the public. Very few facts are known by anyone outside the elite club known as law enforcement, who have a history of hiding facts behind the veil of the thin blue line. 34 days later, Cody Reynolds was also shot and killed by Royal Oak Police. Police quickly released video in Reynolds' case. Cody was unarmed at the time of his killing. Police Chief Corrigan O'Donoghue wasted little time in offering an excuse for his officer's fatal mistake. According to Mr. O'Donoghue, the fact that the officer had no way of knowing if Cody was armed was somehow justification for his actions. Think about that. He had no way of knowing. If there's no evidence that a suspect poses a deadly threat, that is not justification for murder. Unfortunately, we know there will likely be no justice served in either of these cases. Law enforcement officers do not like to investigate other law enforcement officers. Prosecutors do not like prosecuting law enforcement officers. Juries don't like to convict police officers. Unthinking respect for authority will continue to be the greatest enemy of truth. These 2 incidents are simply the most horrific in what has become a pattern of police misconduct under Chief O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue's leadership has perpetuated an attitude of superiority and a complete disregard for the lives that many of the officers under his command have ruined or ended. This era of violent and aggressive policing in Royal Oak must end by making officers accountable to the objective scrutiny loyalty of the public they pretend to serve. The City of Royal Oak must take action. Here today, we demand that the city immediately begin implementing a program that requires all officers to be outfitted with body cameras while on patrol. We further demand that the police chief be removed from his position. It is through his failure in leadership and enabling of bad behavior that the situation has escalated to its current deadly state. O'Donoghue has become a liability to the city that will no doubt cost the taxpayers dearly. We also request that the city require all police officers to purchase and maintain private liability insurance to protect the taxpayers from having to absorb the cost of their potential and historically brutal decisions.
Don't you have no respect for this person?
Finally, we demand that all records regarding the shooting death of Nino Gordon be made immediately available to the family.
You're here.
The family has questions. They deserve answers. As we remember Cody and Nino today, keep in mind that they did not choose to become victims or veterans in this country's war on people. They were merely pawns in the game of control who lost their lives so the government can maintain control over you.
That's not what you guys.
Who will be next?